Alright, part 12. We have a date with the big boss of chapter 4. This is where I left off last night. Hey Tomek, thank you mate, you too. This one made me mad yesterday because... you're gonna see. Hey Sam. Oh damn. Oh shit. Hey Reason. How's my morning? Oh fine, reacted to some stuff. Put on Patreon and subscribe star, and that's about it. It will be much better, although it's not morning anymore, but if I could defeat this bastard, because this one drove me nuts yesterday a little bit. But then again, I went through a lot of bosses in the previous part. A lot. So I was kinda maybe a little bit out of it for this fight. I've had enough basically. Shit! Missed again. Yes, I defeated the Scorpion Lord. Dealt with the secret area in general. Yeah, Scorpion Lord was not a very well made fight. They fucked up that fight. Could have been much better, could be really cool because mechanically it's great, it's got great moves and all that. See, this is the bullshit that I'm talking about. Fucking 50-60% health with one hit if you miss. They are making more and more mistakes with the bosses the more I play. Meaning mostly through stats related things and AI behavioral mechanics, same like Elden Ring. They are making them way too aggressive in a way that there's no respite of any kind. This guy, for example, is better than the Scorpion Lord, but then he does some kind of moveset that just kills you too quick. Yeah, he was very hard boss because he was unfair. That's why. He could do insane amount of damage, he had insane health bar, and basically you had to play the fight perfectly. For about 80% of the fight you had to play it perfectly. Otherwise you would die. Simple as that. Not a very well made fight. If he was drunk, he'd be slower, which would make him far more enjoyable fight. See, this is what I'm talking about. It just pisses me off to no end when they make enemies like this. When they can do insane amount of damage, it just makes me fucking mad. Irritated. You can play fantastic, but you're gonna get hit eventually, and then it's because of the aggression. I don't mind the aggression, but there needs to be a methodical aggression, not just aggression all the time at 100%, right? Let's change things up a little bit. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. They also have some kind of weird framework, this guy especially. Where he can't be hit that easily with heavy attack, even though he's a giant bastard. Nah, she didn't see that. See, this is what I'm talking about. You miss so many of these shots. Oh, come on, then the grab that's gonna do 60% of kill. That's tracked as shit. Just makes me mad, man. And this stupid attack. This is especially stupid. And here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna use the needle now. Ah shit, maybe I shouldn't have used the needle. Oh no, it's good. Epic music again. Shit, what's this now? Come on. Oh, fuck off. Oh! I love when they get me out of the sky. Well, there goes healing. Jebem ti mater! Ne! Jeboti krv! Yes! Ah! Fucking hitboxes, man. They screwed me 2 times almost. Fucking hell, man. Alright. At least I got him down. That's the only thing that matters. That needle does a lot of work in this fight. Without the needle it would be far more problematic. I tried beating him without the needle first time because I didn't know about the needle. And the second time actually. The second time I did really good, but... And the first time, but then I fucked up 5 other. Chapter 5, here we come. Secret area done in chapter 4. I've done all the secret areas so far except chapter 3 because I was told that I can't do it until all the secret areas of other chapters have been done. Hey Jason, by the way, sorry, I was doing the fight, so... Yeah, there's full village of women. I mean, not village, but this family, sisters, whatever. It's bitching for the sake of bitching, mate. There's no base. I think they just kinda clinged onto the comments that the developer made, which was really stupid comments, to be honest. The guy did some really stupid shit. Didn't help himself, so they just latched onto the game based on the comments from the developer. But they also said that those comments might not be his, that might be just from some kind of a Twitter that he doesn't even use. Or I don't know. I'm not into that. I don't give a shit. But if those were his comments, then yeah, those were really inappropriate comments. They're really stupid. Why would you do that? But if he didn't, then no, doesn't matter. Doesn't hurt the game in any way because the game is fantastic, no matter how you look at it. What about Space Marine 2, mate? Haven't got the chance to play it more these days. Been doing a lot of stuff, so no time in the day, mate. I wish the day was 48 hours long. Talking about long, I still have to defeat the chapter 4 long and the blacksmith. I might try the blacksmith a little bit now, just to see how I would fare against him. Because I tried him first time when we got that thing, got that hub area unlocked, which was I think in chapter 3 if I'm not mistaken, maybe in chapter 2. No, chapter 3 I think. No, from a Black Myth Wukong developer. But as I said, it might not be his because someone said that it's not his Twitter. I mean that it is, but someone translated it badly, or I don't know what. I don't care. It's drama for the sake of drama. I don't like to emphasize the drama part. But no matter what, it was a stupid thing to even post such comments because they were quite. I'm an open-minded fella, but sometimes some things are just there to annoy, piss off, and to be derogatory and insulting for the sake of being derogatory and insulting. Now, if you bring insulting and derogatory in terms of comedy, sure, that's a different thing because there's a point to it. But and I don't say lightly that someone went too far. You know me, so I'm playing Space Marine 2 campaign, and so far it's been really good. Hey, Seru, afternoon. Space Marine 2 is one of the most impressive games presentation-wise. I honestly couldn't believe that such a game could exist, and it runs so smoothly. Incredible. Love story between a spider and a boar. Yeah, it is. I love the boar. I hope the boar character continues. It's fucking epic. Really cool character. It brings the game up. Makes it more enjoyable and a funny bastard too at that. Rosy cheeks, gray hair.
本事虽有长进，却还是个笨货。这番不但伤了雾能与他的小情人，还毁了人家的大阵，罪过，罪过。
Bye,
人也好，神仙也罢，都想着戒断过往，重启路。
That is true. All seek to break from the past and start anew.
就像爱人的舌头，嘴里一套，心里一套。 哪怕亲口尝到，也不知到底是想。
Yeah, this is the Chinese dub. I mean, I hope you can hear it. Hope it's not too low of a volume. Shouldn't be. Tried playing in English, but it wasn't good. Much better like this. Yeah, rarely. Some games have done it right, but for example, Final Fantasy VII Remake. But then again, it's Square. When Square does Final Fantasy, it's usually on point when it comes to presentation factor. I tried playing with the English at first. I always try English first. But man, I couldn't. It was so cringy, I don't know. I didn't like it in particular. I thought it didn't fit the characters. It didn't fit. It didn't fit for me. And so I decided to switch to Chinese, and I like it more like this. But to each their own. I just don't think that the voice acting is as good as Chinese. Yeah, it's really hard to bring properly the complicated language like Chinese to English and make all the references make sense and have a proper, also emotional connection to the words and so on. It's just a different thing. We get to play as Boar now. That would be awesome. If you beat the game once, then a reward you can play as Bajie, or whatever the name is. God damn, this armor is cool. That's a strange thing to say. Boar is the goat, right? I know what you mean, but it's a funny thing. Yeah, I love that character. It's such a well-written character. I mean, a lot of the characters here, I can't say that I've seen one character that is in the game that's badly written. That you can say that you would cringe and that you would say, you know what, this makes no sense, this just doesn't work. I can't say one fucking character, and that's in a game with so many crazy characters where they could easily fuck things up. But each character has some kind of a personality and sort of charisma or lack of charisma, depending on what they are going for. But they're so well done. I mean, people say about combat, yeah, combat this, combat that, but the story of this game and the presentation and the storytelling part through cutscenes and between chapters is truly fantastic, man. It really drags you in. Though I still don't understand a lot of it. I'm gonna have to recheck how all of these bosses that we're fighting are connected to the bosses that are from the intro. I thought at first that all the chapter bosses are those big bastards that we saw at the beginning, and maybe these are their stories, how they become that way. But I don't think that's the case, right? I gotta recheck that.
老朱当年总督天河，掌管8万水兵大众，这些个阴兵鬼卒也敢拦路？哼！若不是靠我神庙变化，你今日准交代在这儿了。
Yeah,
给
nice.
叔叔磕个响头，不过分吧
What?
吃过一回亏，再无第二回。这等撒煞倒虚之徒，不足为惧。我先过去探个实信，你小子速速跟上。
You face boy. Now, realistically for this game, you guys already know that watched the stream to some extent that this is gonna be a very positive review once it comes out. Realistically, from things that I've experienced in the game so far, I don't think you can ever make a case that this isn't a great game. I don't think it would be realistic. So to me, great is 8 out of 10. Now, to me, it's just a question of how good it truly is, or how great it truly is. Is it amazing? Is it a masterpiece? Is it... But honestly, anything below that, anything below saying that this game is great would be really not knowing how to appreciate good things about a game that it does. Yeah, there are bad things too. But overall, so many good things, so many impressive things that you gotta give it the credit for. I mean, I just can't say that this game is only good. It would be unfair. To me, a good game is Surge 2, for example. That's a good game to me. Or Neo 2. Or Neo 1. Those are good games, but those games have severe weaknesses. This game... Maybe Surge 2 doesn't have severe weaknesses, but just isn't as good in other things. Oh, new enemies. Nice. Yeah, boss tuning definitely, but even with that, most boss fights are phenomenal. But the boss tuning, I agree, definitely agree. And occasionally they fuck up the, as I said, they love to fuck up a certain part of a fight, of a boss fight, by making it overly ridiculous. Chapter 2 main fight is the best example in my opinion, because that fight is phenomenal for whole duration until the last 10% or 20% of the boss's health, which is where I see now the poison build possibilities. Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Okay, but then they fuck it up in the last portion where they just throw too many things on the screen. But the storytelling, the lore, everything is phenomenal. I mean, it's phenomenal. Upon successful hits for spirit, once you focus upon reverting. What does reverting mean? For a short duration, I think the skill descriptions should be also better. For a short duration after performing spirit skill using a vessel, considerably increases attack. I know now what a vessel is. I'm still offensive about this game, mostly because reviewers keep using the phrase boss rush game to describe it. It's just boss walk or a little boss repeat. Came out of using... thank you, mate. Came out of using... no, it's not. But bosses are the prominent thing about this game. It's the best, one of the best things about this game. I mean, look, I repeated this many times so far. Why would anyone want a game where you fight so many pointless fights? There's a lot of pointless fights in this game too, where you go from boss to boss and in between. The trash mobs, right? There's a lot of pointless fights. Now, as the chapters progress, there's less and less of those. In Chapter 4, there were fewer pointless fights than in Chapter 3, for example. But having so many boss fights that... So many bosses, and each boss almost works differently, creates such a dynamic. Sorry, I'm hitting the mic all the time. It creates such a different dynamic that you never know what you're about to expect, and it's gonna test you in different ways. Now, the Seru or Sindaris is absolutely right. Boss tuning needs to be there, and it needs to be better. It's not really good at this point, but it also gives you some fights like, let's say, like a warm-up fights for the boss ahead. And some fights, because some of the bosses are so damn stronger than the others, it's gonna make you such a better player that you're gonna just walk through some of the mini-bosses. But the thing that the dynamic creates from a lot of the mini-bosses and so having so many bosses is that you're constantly gonna have a new experience. And that's the experience you will never get from simply fighting trash mobs. And also, when it comes to trash mobs in this game, every chapter has new set of enemies. The whole new set of enemies. And that's absolutely mind-blowing. In a game like this, that every enemy is different almost in every chapter. Not just the bosses, but the normal ones. So people saying boss rush as a bad thing to me is just ludicrous, to be honest. If you don't like that, then okay. Then maybe games like Diablo or Path of Exile are more up your alley. You know, when you fight a lot of trash mobs. Or maybe Neo, where you'll fight a ton of trash mobs and I have 2 bosses per level, something like that. Alright, I don't judge anyone, but I can't ever understand why someone would appreciate more trash mobs, having more trash mobs and more trash mobs fights than actual boss fights. Bosses are far more difficult to create, and they fucked up some of the bosses here, without a doubt. But they fucked up so far 3 bosses that I can count out of I don't know how many that I have fought in these 4 chapters. So I can never get behind that statement that this is a bad thing if it's a boss rush. There's plenty of content outside of bosses. You have secret areas, you have quests, you have exploration. The exploration is not significant in a way that there's a lot of things to explore, but there's a meaningful exploration. You're gonna get a chest somewhere if you turn a little bit. If you explore, you might find a secret enemy that you never thought it would be there. Fucking, I pulled up some kind of a thing out of the ground and there was a secret mini boss. You never know what's gonna happen, and I can never put that as a bad thing. I just can't, because games like this don't exist. I don't know a game like this that exists in this form with so much enemy variety and so much boss variety. I don't know. I don't know about. Maybe they exist. I haven't played them. I don't know, but mate, to me, I don't know. It's crazy to think that that's a bad thing in any way. Alright, we can upgrade this. Upon a successful charge, heavy attack, each focus slightly recovers health. If the enemy is in poison state, massively enhances the recovery. That's cool. A little bit of upgrade too. Now, poison could be used in this. Oh, that's a cool looking. Just look at every chapter and how the environment is. It's fucking. Now, invisible walls, I agree. Immediately someone's gonna point that out. I agree, it was a stupid choice. They could have done a lot better job regarding that. But damn, man, I mean, you gotta appreciate the detail, the detailing and polish of this game at times. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's something that games should strive for, to create a different. This is a different experience. There aren't many experiences like Black Myth Wukong. There aren't. And I don't know. I think people got used to repetitiveness and RNG and grind and doing the same thing all over again, that they maybe can't appreciate some of the things that this game does. And that's fine. I can't blame the people. It's about us who understand these things, who can really bring it to the. Not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we are smarter, who know, no, nothing like that. It's not a pretentious thing that I'm trying to portray here. It's just saying that some people recognize this, what is happening in the games. I think I have a good eye for things to recognize so far, and that's why my reviews are mostly well liked in terms of like and dislike ratio. I can pinpoint things, and I know where games make a mistake, where things don't work, where they could be better. And telling you, this game also has a lot of that. But the good things that it does are so rare and difficult to do that even if you don't like it for some reason, you gotta appreciate it. Likeness, not liking, is entirely subjective. It's entirely subjective concept. Because it's all about the preferences. As I said, sometimes you're gonna have a game that is right up your alley. Like me, Atom RPG. Atom RPG is a Fallout 3 that I never got. I played it, it has many mistakes, it has many downsides. But it's still a great game nonetheless, because of the good writing and all that. But it's not better than good or great. It simply isn't. And I can see why, I can see that. It's not difficult to understand why, but I put the preference aside. I enjoyed it, but the way I enjoyed that game is because of my preferences, because of the nostalgic factor. And those are extremely subjective things. Now, that's what I have to put aside when doing the review. Because you're not interested in my subjectiveness. You're interested in if I can keep it objective as much as possible, even though in the end all scores are subjective. But they need to be in the realm of the realistic. So there's a thing that pisses me off, that the time not pisses me off, but that I don't understand at times, how reviewers like IGN or someone can shit on a game like this for some things that just, I don't know. I mean, they emphasize the negative too much because there's so much else to appreciate in games. Someone said that I do that too in my reviews, and maybe they're right, but there's the thing about emphasizing the negative. When you talk about the negative, it kind of hits you differently, and that also comes sometimes through an emotional connection with the game that you're playing. And then when someone says something negative about it, even if they are correct, it kind of hits you differently, and then you feel like it's emphasized more than it should be, but it maybe isn't. But in this game, emphasizing the bad things, I will tell you now all the bad things about this game. Boss tuning, as Sarah said, invisible walls, some bosses which is connected to the boss tuning are just over the top a little bit. I don't think that, for example, these stats to the right were necessary. I think this game would benefit more of a Sekiro type of progression when you don't have the stats at all. I think character progression is quite good. With the amount of spells, the spells are fantastic, really useful in a fight. They are so smooth in a fight. I love the transformation option. Stances are quite different due to the heavy attack. Now light attack, I think they could have added more combos with the light attack because it can get boring sometimes spamming the light attack. There are trash mob fights that get boring a little bit at times, and that's it. That's all the negative I can say about this game. But the amount of good compared to this is just, it's hard to compare. See, here we go. Look at this fight. Would you rather have this kind of a fight or some kind of a trash mob where you fight two people that you're gonna defeat in 2 shots? Instead, they give you this, a fucking Minotaur that you're gonna fight amidst other enemies that the Minotaur is fighting also. And the ranged enemies. I don't like there are so many ranged attacks in the game. Now, there aren't that many, but where they are, they really piss me off. And there's also good build, and there's no grind in this game for first playthrough, at least if you don't want to. There's no grind. You can just, you get armor sets, you can craft them through basic materials that you find. I haven't grinded at all in this game so far, and I'm in chapter 5. There's no need to grind. You get the materials, if you want, you can. There's an option to do so, to make things a little bit better, maybe easier for you. There's an option for you to do that, but that there is need for it, there isn't. Really, there isn't. I don't know if this guy is dead or... Oh. Not to say that animations are absolutely amazing. And the combat is extremely satisfying. Who is shooting at me? Why can't I? Maybe because I need to transform. By the way, this is gonna be a shorter stream, then I'm gonna stream again later.
饶你！你的事我早有耳闻，你要寻的东西，老大王定然知道。
See, Jason, that's a good point. You need some time to refresh yourself, right? Between the bosses, and that's why these bosses exist. That's why I think it's a good thing in a game like this that there's a huge disbalance in boss fights, but it should tune them a little bit more. But it works because they give you a different type of a fight, but it's not entirely that difficult. This wasn't a difficult fight.
步行车是大王的孩儿炼化出来的，
Wasn't at all.
厉害的很。
But it gave me something different. It didn't give me a typical enemy that I fight all the time, right?
这他不只是阻止我等上山，我觉得其中，眼下老子还得守住。棺材车
That was my point about the balancing of the bosses, that in this game it actually works that they are not that well balanced. But they do need some fine-tuning, I agree there. So that was my point. I absolutely agree with you. You kinda need your brain to refresh. Yesterday I had so many fights done on the stream that at the end I didn't have will to go through the chapter 4 boss still. Well, I was tired also, it was 2 a.m. almost. So I was streaming for a long time, and there were a lot of fights, and I just couldn't keep up anymore. And that was fine. Just moved from the game and that's it. But that's after 4 hours of play. And against many bosses. It just gives you a different dynamic. Not necessarily a difficult dynamic, but a different dynamic nonetheless. And I love that. I absolutely adore that such fights exist. But that's a good thing that you mentioned, that description about you need a time to stop if necessary. I like that. I like that you said that, because it plays right into the positive of Black Myth. Because it's not you're gonna have fight after fight that's gonna be incredibly difficult, that's gonna take it all on, that you're gonna have to give it all. Nothing like that, not even close. Now yesterday I had 3 fights in a row that were actually not 3 but 4 fights, boss fights in a row, and 3 of them were, well, I'd say 2 were quite difficult. That was the Scorpion Lord, which was really not a well-made fight. Then I had the quest from the secret area, which was not a problematic fight. And then I had the boss of the secret area, which the second phase was a little bit problematic at times, but it wasn't as difficult as the Scorpion Lord. And then I got to the chapter 4 boss, which was difficult. So, because they didn't know about the needle, and it was a lot to take in 4 hours. But 4 hours of game time if you play, and if that's not enough for you, I don't know what to say. If you need more than that in one sitting, it's fine. Maybe it's just not something that you'd want. But that's an extreme example. That's a rare example that I experienced in this game, because other examples are far more, far easier. So that was the only extreme so far sequence of bosses that I had to deal with. I'm not saying that there won't be more. There most likely will be. But we'll deal with them. I don't need to deal with them at once. See, there is a special enemy. It gives you a completely different dynamic than the fight before this one. It's not particularly difficult. It might get you. Oh shit, no. Come on, heal. There we go. See, this wasn't a difficult fight. But it was a different dynamic. Interesting than putting two normal enemies here to fight. Other than the secret ending fight, I think the worst stacked fight I had was in Chapter 2 Pagoda before they nerfed the story boss. Fighting Captain Lotus vision followed up with Captain Y's voice. Captain Lotus. Can you remind me? By names, I'm very bad with names, mate. I can't recall any of the bosses by names. Except the yellow rat. Captain Lotus. What the hell was Captain Lotus? Oh yeah, that was the worst fight. In the game, by far the worst fight that I've experienced. Really badly done fight. Has nothing to do. It's like someone else from other game made that fight. I don't know what the hell was with that fight. Captain Wise was... which one? Was that the boss after, in that arena, the big one? Honestly, that boss, I don't know, I didn't have many, but they nerfed it, right? Aha, okay, so they nerfed that boss, Captain Wise. Did I find the story in Tactical Breach Wizards funny? I thought the story was good in Tactical Breach Wizards, and the dialogue was occasionally funny. They had some good things that made me laugh. Sometimes it was a little bit cringy, but overall, definitely positive experience. But the story was actually good. About the New World Order and things like that. It made sense. A lot of the sense. And I gotta say, Tactical Breach Wizard's last fight... That's creative as heck. It was really difficult to understand what the hell I need to do. But damn, it was creative. Who did you beat first try, mate? Sorry, wasn't paying attention. Did you see they nerfed I didn't see they nerfed Consort Radan, but yeah, they needed to do that. That fight was utter horseshit. But then again, look, it's part of their new boss setup due to the summons, and I think that's a completely wrong direction. They would need to redo most of the fights anyway in Elden Ring in order for them to become better, especially towards the end. It just wasn't. But you know what I think about it. I did a review, I explained everything, and I need to repeat the same thing all over again. But yeah, they needed to do that. They absolutely needed to do that because it's a bullshit fight. Anyone can create a fight, an unfair fight that's difficult. Anyone. That's the easiest thing to do. You just buff up the stats, you create... you make so that there are no points where you can actually slow down and maybe heal in peace or prepare a different strategy in between attacks and so on, or think about a different thing. That's the easiest thing in the world. That's not even remotely challenging to do. What is challenging to do are mechanics of the attacks, which Consort Radan had really good. A lot of the attacks were good, but it's his cheating and AI behavioral mechanics that were the problem, right? Most Elden Ring fights have amazing mechanics, but they are done. They are how to put it. The way they use these mechanics is not good. That's the problem. By the way, I reacted to that Ballad of Antara game. Looks good. Looks promising. Yeah, there were, Yuri, woke elements. I agree with you. But that's the thing, we now kinda see woke elements everywhere. And sometimes we see them where they are even when they are not even there. But it was definitely a little bit of feminism in that. Especially in the beginning. In Tactical Breach Wizards. But it's not something, as you said, it's not something to put you off enough. Because the game is brilliant. I mean, truly, that game, I don't have a bad thing to say, except that map thing that kind of confused me at times, but maybe that's just me, I don't know, but it didn't hurt the game, right? We can agree on that. After each iron card, you can make the bull guy move to the next location. There's 4 cards to kill. Ah, okay. Thank you, mate. Before nerf, I built a character that after a very large buff set up one hit his punk ass just to see if he fucking hearts. I wish I could remove that. Yeah, I also did cheat, not cheat, but cheap tactic. I created that, what was it? Some kind of a tactic where I just hit him in 2 shots and he was done. But I don't want that. I don't want that option in a game even. I don't want those options in single player games, especially single player games like Elden Ring, because that doesn't give you enough to appreciate the boss designs if they are good. If you can just 2 shot or 1 shot. That's what I hated about Neo. Because the bosses there weren't bad at all. On the contrary. But you could shut them down so easily, as they could shut you down so easily. But in those fights, you rarely had the time to breathe, to let the fight breathe, to have that cool moment where you're just watching each other, who's gonna make the first move or something like that. You know, something that would make it dynamically different. Oh, I can turn that off. I don't care about those reactions, mate. So I will turn that off. I will. Thank you for the tip. See, you know more about YouTube and I'm the YouTuber. That's how much I pay attention to to these things. So people say that single-player games should not be nerfed, that you should never nerf things in single-player games because it's your experience that you want to create. I disagree there a little bit, because I think to experience the game at its best, if the game is polished enough, super uber OP things that just make the game too easy, a game that should be challenging, it just hurts the experience. And there's also a discussion about, but it's by design, they made things by design. Yeah, true. And you're just using what they gave you, what tools they gave you. Absolutely correct. But you also have to be fair that most of the games that use builds and that have complex build making, that they can't balance it all out. It's impossible. One of the games that we had a discussion here that is extremely balanced, I think, was Pillars of Eternity 1. And even Josh Sawyer said that they fucked up because they balanced it too much, so that everything played it the same, which is not a good thing in the end. Exactly, if you completed the game, see, that's a good point. And then there's Fable 1 with the Sword of Aeon's post-create weapon, which was overpowered and nerfed, but who cares if you completed the game? Exactly. Same like Metal Gear Solid. If you remember the first Metal Gear Solid, you had that bandana that gave you infinite ammo, or you get that camouflage thing. That creates a completely different experience, right? You can play the game differently, entirely different. Now, those are cool rewards. That's why I love the games of the past, because they could really reward you for doing something in a different way. Not today. That's why I hate achievements. Achievements are a substitute for that, because they don't give you enough of a good reward today, because they just give you a fucking text on top. Oh, you've done that. I know I've done that. I don't need points, arbitrary points that mean nothing. Fuck that. Give me an in-game reward that would make me replay the game, that would make me that I would feel like you appreciate that I've beaten your game, and that that you are gonna reward me so that you want me to continue playing the game but having a completely different experience in a way. Maybe unlock a new character that you can play, like for example in DMC 3. Devil May Cry 3, when you could unlock Virgil to play as him. That's a good incentive to replay the game. Because who wouldn't like that, right? Those are the rewards. Resident Evil 2. What rewards you got from that? I don't give a fuck. Achievements can be additional thing if you care for that. Not a problem. But they have substituted rewards, proper in-game rewards for achievements. For something that means nothing. Literally fucking nothing. You can't wipe your ass with those points. It doesn't change the game at all. It just gives you some fucking trophy that... I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. Achievements for something truly special that you've done, that is quite a difficult challenge, that is something that many can't do. That's alright. I don't have anything against that, because that's a proof that you've done something, right? Unlike before, where a lot of us claimed, well, I haven't, but a lot of us claimed, a lot of the people that played games could say that they've done this and done that, but they actually never did it. So in that regard, yeah, sure. But then again, there's also options there where you can just cheat and just have achievements to say 100% or this and that. And what's the point then? Why has that become a currency of success or currency of anything? And because of the achievements, one of the things, because the achievements have become so prominent in the games that people started to care about that so much, they've started to introduce in games more collectibles or more side things that are just boring, tedious collectible thing that doesn't improve the gameplay in any way, but actually makes the game more tedious. Some will say, yeah, but that forces you to explore more. Sure, in some games it's done right. In this game, it's done fantastic. It's not fantastic. You get secret areas, secret bosses. That's the reward I want. Not fucking I'm collecting arbitrary coins or arbitrary artifacts that make no fucking... that gives me nothing in the game itself. And that's the achievement. You went there, you collected it. What was special about it? Nothing. It was another path with the same reward as many other collectibles. But they need to introduce these things today just to be able to put more achievements in the game so that people could get the dopamine hit of a text pop-up. Which is pathetic if you think about it. I mean, I'm not attacking anyone. People like what they like. As I said, it's a subjective thing. But I fucking can't stand it. If I could, I would turn off achievements in any game that I'm playing. I don't want to see a text there that I've achieved something. I know what I've achieved. You don't need to tell me. Is that thing, I was just watching Steve Hughes, the comedian, one of my favorite comedians. One of my favorite... Ubisoft stock down 84%. Ha! Nice, love it. He says a good point about health and safety regulations or political correctness or anything. Basically, health and safety is oppression of our physical movement so that we can't do some things because we don't have the what's the word? We don't have the shit. Fucking hell, what's the word? We don't have the fact that the state allowed us to do, I don't know the word, Jesus, that word is evading me. So the state is not allowing us to do something because of the oppression of our physical movement due to health and safety violations, right? And then you have political correctness, which is oppression of the intellectual movement. And he's right about that. And I lost my point. Fuck, what was I gonna say? But now you need labels, you need this, you need that, you need so many stupid people becoming morons today. I don't get it. I mean, common sense. The same with achievements. I don't need a label to tell me that I've succeeded at something. I see it. I've succeeded it. Achievement doesn't make it special. I know. What's special is that I've achieved something. I've defeated the boss. I've beaten the game. I found a secret thing. You don't need a label for that. Same like as he says. You see a great big deep hole, and there would be a sign that says don't step into the hole, avoid the hole. I mean, I know it's a fucking hole. I mean, I get that, right? That should be a logical thing. Kinda an analogy that works and doesn't work, but you get me. But definitely, if you can watch Steve Hughes, one of the best comedians, modern George Carlin, and better version of him. SBI. SBI. What is SBI? Aha, Sweet Baby. Yeah, Sweet Baby. Yeah. Well, fuck Ubisoft, mate. Will anyone cry for them? No. When they do a good game, well, they did do Prince of Persia. People say the last one is good. We talked about that the other day. Oh. That's a good one. Yeah, I also have an offensive sense of humor, but that's why I can enjoy comedy. A lot of it. I mean, just watch Patrice O'Neill Nasty Show, one of the funniest bits ever, but it talks about sex and it talks about nasty positions. It's not that, those are not realistic positions that people do, but it's more of in terms of comedy. And there was a joke that put him on news. By the way, to me he's the greatest comedian ever. But there was a joke about the donkey punch, the sexual thing. When you fuck a girl from behind and then you kind of punch her a little bit at the back of the head, and then she goes into shock, and then that it tightens. Then the pussy tightens around the dick, and then it's supposed to be the best cum ever, the best feeling ever. It was a joke. It's not a real thing. No one's gonna do that. And then some feminists got offended, and they invited him to a news show where he got attacked because of it. And then the camera guy didn't hear that joke before, and he told the joke. And you could hear the camera guy started laughing. And Patrice O'Neill said, "Why are you laughing? That's not funny. That's offensive." You know, it was one of the best TV moments I've seen, mate, of proving a goddamn point. Comedy is subjective. Was it Ubisoft that did that pirate game that was just hilarious? Skull and Bones. I think that was the name. Yeah, you're right. I also don't think there should be any limits. There's comedy. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Simple as that. Why is that a problem? Just because some other people like to watch some same look, there also should be a woke comedy. Why not? I'm sure it's not good, but it might be good to people who are offended easily, and that is fair. Why not give people a choice? That's why we live in a modern world where choice is plenty. So don't get rid of a choice don't get rid of an option that I like. Why is your taste preferable to mine? I'm not saying that my taste is preferable. I'm not saying that. But at least let us enjoy our choices. Of a TV show, of a video game, there should be something for everyone. I'm not mad at that. If there are woke games, if there are woke comedy shows, woke TV shows, good, let them have them. But we are not attacking, we are making fun of those shows, same as they should be making fun of our shows that are too offensive, but not trying to cancel things. I mean, you're playing with people's livelihoods that way. So someone needs to be fucking cancelled or whatever because you got offended or some shit. What? Being offended is subjective. It's just not fair. I don't like things that aren't fair. That's the big problem for me. Just let us enjoy our own things. What's the problem? I mean, fucking hell, when we are talking about offensive things, well, porn is still one of the biggest industries, but they are fine with that, right? I mean, talk about hypocrisy. Where they literally use women and men as meat. But that's fine, right? Because you have power over it. Because it's too much of a moneymaker. And they've tried canceling people. They tried canceling so many things. Everything that they tried to cancel just got more monetary profits from their attempts to cancel it. So it doesn't work. Leave it be. It's fine. Look at Black Myth Wukong. Because of the all the negative press from the woke companies, it's one of the most successful games. Probably the most successful game of this year. You made it that because you pushed against it because of the stupid reasons, because you think some kind of ideological reasons that are all right, that should be considered and that they are righteous or some shit. Well, it isn't. It's actually on the contrary, but I'm not gonna get into that. Right now, I talked about it multiple times before. And you made it so that it's now popular, but no, we are the chauvinists. We are the ones that are not good people because of it. I mean, what? Are you really gonna base my person on what I like? I like violent games because I don't do violence in real life. Yeah, I did train a lot of martial arts, but I never fought on the streets. I never attacked anyone. I'm actually a very peaceful person in that regard. But I love the violence and I love the gore in video games. I love it to death. I would fucking make every game be like Fallout 2 when parts of body are bursted throughout their body holes. Because I enjoyed it in a video game. I enjoy it in a setting where there are no consequences for that action. But it actually brings up the immersion of the video game. And I prefer that. And if you don't like it, there's an option to reduce gore. And that is fine. I'm alright with that. I'm alright that people don't like so much gore that you could turn it off. That is fair. That is alright. I'm not attacking people that don't like gore. No, there's an option for you. Awesome. I have my option, you have your option. That's the fair world. Not me trying to cancel fucking no gore option because I prefer gore. That would be unfair. Yeah, free marketing, exactly. It's our escapism. Yeah, true. Now, Mark, your gore obsession is clearly an indicator that might be an acid barrel somewhere in your basement. Well, for some people there might be. As long as no one is in that acid barrel, it's fine, right? I mean, fuck, we have knives in our kitchen. Does that mean I'm gonna take the knife and fucking butcher my dog or my girl or my grandpa or grandma or sisters or something? No. Because you have tools everywhere that can do the job if you're mental. If you're mental and you have psychological issues, it's fine. Don't play things that, or don't watch things that would emphasize that if you can't control yourself. Acid barrel is just on cooldown. Nice. I just replaced Baldur's Gate 3. That game is... what do you mean replaced, mate? I love Baldur's Gate 3. Really phenomenal. For example, that's a game that has a little bit of feminism in it. But not to the extent that it would hurt the game. Or that would make it so in your face. But the characters are well written. So you can't say anything because the characters are female characters next to males are well done. I love when I start talking, I forget where I am in the game. But I like the fact that I can talk with all of you about that. I mean, that's a really today. That's not that frequent where you have such an open community of people that that can just talk about anything, that have a place where they can go. I'm sure that YouTube censors some of your comments. I'm not the one that censors them. And that's not fair. I would never allow that if I had the power over it. And that must be frustrating. But I love the fact that we can talk. I love the fact that probably some of you also can't talk like this in real life because people are going to get offended, and you don't want to offend people that don't have the capacity to understand things, to look at it a deeper way. And I love that you can come here and then talk with me about stuff and talk with other people in the chat, and you're not going to get attacked. We're just going to in a discussion. And yeah, sometimes you're going to get offended by the discussion if someone doesn't agree with you. I get offended sometimes when I read the comments on my reviews. I get sometimes pissed off, but then I cool down and read the comment because it's my creation. The review is my creation, and then I get pissed off at something that people don't understand, something that I'm trying to portray, or maybe they don't agree. But it's my emotional response. That's completely unfair. And then I kind of cool down, take a deep breath, read it. All right, maybe they're right. And then I type a rational comment. And as a response, I had so many time wasted. Well, maybe it's not a waste of time, where I got into so many discussions about technical things in games, mechanics, and so on. Dragon's Dogma 2 a lot. I had a lot of discussions about Dragon's Dogma 2, where I really took a lot of my time to type things. That's one of the reasons why I decided to make a response to reviews. Some of the reviews for more popular games. It's easier to answer that way, because typing takes a lot of time. But then again, to type a long comment explaining also takes a long time. So I respect people doing that, because that means that they have something to say, something valuable to say. And I would be an asshole if I would just react emotionally to it. I need to give them a proper place, proper space, and let them say what they think, and then react in a way that would be fair, not dismissive. But you can only know that if you are typing such comments yourself, like I'm doing it with the response, so that I can know to appreciate the time that they would like to educate me on some things, and that's a good thing. Oh, this chapter is beautiful as well. It's completely different from others. It's like scorched earth type of thing, but really cool stuff. To be fair, groups have been trying to stop change video games since the day of Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, but Mortal Kombat 1 was such a different experience than it. People were shocked that such a thing exists. And that's alright. It's not alright. In hindsight, it's not alright. But imagine the shock of parents and people at that age that never experienced something like that. It's a shock, right? It's something that you gotta get used to. And then eventually people got used to it. And Mortal Kombat is now one of the most prominent franchises around. I love Mortal Kombat. It's my favorite fighting game. Although I still haven't played Mortal Kombat 1. I don't want to support them with their monetization practices. Fuck them. They really screwed that part up. But that's Warner Brothers, more or less. I can't stand Warner Brothers. One of the most scummy publishers ever. But I do have some good games under their belts. Gotta say that. Your honest opinion about the Dragon Age Veilguard. Dragon Age Veilguard, so far from the things I've seen, I think that combat might be good. From the last thing that I've seen, I think that combat has a lot of potential. And it looks good. Depends how it plays, of course. I think that they should also add, on top of it, the ability to control characters through... Well, they do have, right? Yeah, they do have that. You can control other characters through active commands. Not physically, but through active commands. So, in terms of that, I think in terms of combat, the game is gonna be good, but in terms of story and writing and the dialogue that I've seen in that first reaction that I did on the channel was quite disappointing. I don't think BioWare can write anything good anymore, but we'll see. It's on them to prove me wrong. I don't have any expectations from the game. As I said, I always want a game to be good, to be great. I want it to be quality. That's the only thing that matters to me. I'm not on any side, hate, love. Just give me a good game. That's it. I don't care. If you can do a good game in the confines of your ideology or whatever, it's fine. Do it. Baldur's Gate 3 had some ideology in it, as I explained earlier about the feminism part, but it did do it in a right way. I don't think it was ever in my face. In the whole game, yeah, there are bits and pieces of it and so on, but when you start thinking about the discrepancy between male and female characters and the fact that there's barely any good, strong male characters that don't make mistakes, unlike females that are pure righteous and bullshit like that. I can't recall right now, but I know that I had that type of thinking and I was right about that. It was a specific thing that I've talked to on the Discord where I said a very, very peculiar thing about the discrepancy between males and females, but that's a very fine point that you really gotta notice and think about it to get to that point. But it's not done in a bad way. It's very subtle. And I'm alright with that. I don't have a problem with that because most characters are written well. To me, the most thing that I have a problem with in CRPGs are the female frontliners, tanks. That it has to be. It has to be that a female is a frontliner now. And that's the thing that it's a fantasy world, but that's the thing that I don't like in particular. Because it's simple biology that males are a stronger species, and that's always going to be. And if you want to be a frontliner, you gotta kind of have to be a little bit stronger to be able to pure strength. Just realistically, through pure strength, you gotta be able to hold the tide a little bit. You know, it's not a big thing, but it's just non-immersive, and I wanna have an option to have more characters that are frontliners. And the more I play these games, the more I see that gender roles have been reversed. More of males are becoming mages and kind of wimpy characters, while more females have become butch and put into the front lines, you know. And that's to me unimmersive, but that's to me unimmersive. Might not be for other people. Might not be a factor for other people, and that is fine, absolutely. But at least give me a choice, right? If you give me a choice, then it's fine, not a problem. Can't offend anyone in real life if you don't have anyone to talk to in real life. But seeing these chats might not last too long. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, that trap music was a terrible thing in Mortal Kombat trailer. It doesn't work. Who is paying who? Yeah, but because males were far more included into the games than females at that point. And in the writing, and also because of the times of before, right? That was completely different times. And kinda it was like that for a long time, and then it switched. And it's now a push for a completely different demographic in terms of roles. No, I don't have a problem with male mages, not at all. Don't get me wrong. That's fine with me. But if you just put them in those roles as a default, in such roles, which are wimpy roles, let's be honest. Mages are physically weaker because they work on their intellectual skills, unless they're battle mages of sorts. Johnny Blue, what do you mean how much they paying you? Who you mean paying me? That BioWare is paying me? Ha! I wish. I would take their money and still say my piece, so I win. Fucking hell, I would love that, to screw over a company like that. If BioWare ever paid me to give an unfair opinion of Dragon Age Veilguard, I would take the money and still do an honest opinion about the game. True, that's right, mate, but that's the concept of old. That the mages are males, right? That's the concept of old, and it's been pushed now more than ever. Because they need to have some kind of a role, right? Or today is a very overrepresentative of emasculated men. I don't know why that is. I mean, I know why that is, but I'm not going to get into that, which I can't really associate with. But I'm sure that a lot of males can associate with those, and that is absolutely fine. And because of the emasculated man, there's less and less proper warriors. That's why I loved Space Marine 2. Fucking hell, badass steroid-infused fucking bastards with the coolest armor ever. Just going for the Emperor and going mental. Don't care if they die or live. Shit, I missed that. I missed that type of thing. I also don't mind female main character. I mean, I love female main characters when they're done right. I loved so many games, so many movies, TV shows that have female main character. That's not. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have anything to do with the female character. It being the character being female. Not at all. We talked about it yesterday also. Nothing to do with that. It's just how you do her. As said, Baldur's Gate 3 has really good female characters. But there's also a problem with writing female characters, because if they create a beautiful female character, they then don't need to write a lot of the... They don't have to have such high quality writing for people to be interested, because, well, males are just gonna look at the beauty of the female and, oh, waifu, fucking jerk off on the screen, right? It's fine if you like that, but that kind of puts the weight and they don't have as much as incentive to make the character deeper. Like, for example, look at the Sarah Connor, or I always put those two examples, Sigourney Weaver. They aren't beautiful. Fucking fantastic written characters, both of them. Tomb Raider. Alright, Tomb Raider is a beautiful character. She's beautiful, honestly. And she's really, in new Tomb Raider games, she's much more deeper character than before. She has much more of a personality. And we can learn more about her that way. And I think she's well written. Maybe a little bit of a masochistic side to it. But I don't have a problem with that. Horizon Zero Dawn. Female character. Never mind, it is second that I played with such a character. Yeah, you're right, mate. It's a fabricated concept. As I said, I think yesterday I was talking about it. Balkan is a very chauvinistic region, in a way. It was before. It still is to an extent. And every person that plays video games, all of the mates that play video games never said a single thing about having a problem with playing as a female character. When we were young, when we were older and all that, no one said ever anything. I never said about it anything, because if you have a good character, you have a good character. Period. Doesn't matter what it has between the legs, right? Good character is a good character. Period. I didn't mind that in Last of Us, Ellie was a lesbian. She was a well-written character, but they kind of made that the writing part a little bit annoying in Last of Us 2, the way she was portrayed, and they made a focus on their relationship, which was a bad focus to make in such a game. So there's not a problem with Ellie being lesbian. Not a problem at all. I don't give a shit. But the problem is when you put that relationship as a huge focus. Then it destroyed kind of the point of the world a little bit, and it took me out of the whole thing. And also the sexual thing, it's irrelevant in games. I mean, why are we even bothering ourselves with that so much? Why it needs to be included that the characters want to have sex with someone? I don't give a shit. That's the whole point of video games. Don't put those things in games. Simply let us enjoy. You don't need to have relationships in games and our character wanted to fuck anything that moves. There are games for that too, don't get me wrong. But Last of Us is not a game like that. Doesn't add anything. Nothing good. It actually takes away from the world and the point of the world, which is survival. Not to mention how they needed to add a lot of flashback moments to explain that a little bit deeper and to see the connection between them or between other characters in the game to a deeper extent, so you could actually connect to them a little bit more, which also in turn completely destroyed the pacing of the story with all the flashbacks. So it was entirely detrimental factor to the game. Do you enjoy Ken Levine games? He made Bioshock. Oh, Ken Levine, yeah. 1, 3 and System Shock 2. Yeah, Bioshock is awesome. I love Bioshock. He has a new game coming out, Judas. I never heard of it, but now I know about it. And I might have to check the trailers out to see what it is about. Will you play Gridfall 2? I'm gonna get the key for Gridfall 2. So yes, I will. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it immediately because I still have this to finish in Space Marine 2. And I'm going to get finally a promotion. I'm going to get paid a little bit. I mean, 300 euros going to get for that promotion. I'm not going to be able to say it during that promotion, but I can say it now, which is currently 30% of my paycheck. So that's going to help me tremendously with all the expenses that I have and money that I have to give back. So it's gonna fix some things, but it's just a temporary fix. But thankfully I got one. I wish I could get more. More of those promotions that will really help me a lot. Because I don't have many views on the videos and I can't rely on the channel anymore. And there's no more games that I could do guides for that will really be, you know, really a thing that I could sink my teeth into and do proper guides like I always did. What game? Maybe Dragon Age, when it comes out, that's gonna be a game that is gonna be very good guide-wise. I thought maybe Gridfall 2, if it's a game that's gonna be fully released now, would be a good thing to focus on, which if it was a full release, I would definitely play it. And do guides for. Definitely a game that I would cover. But I don't see many other games. Path of Exile 2 is coming out, but that's a huge time investment in a genre that I don't particularly like. So I don't know if that would be a worthwhile thing. I don't think that it would be. I would love to have a proper game to sink my teeth into regarding guides. Really would love that. I haven't done proper guides in a while. And oh yeah, I still have to do Atom RPG guide. I know it's an old game, but for people that want to get into it. For fuck's sake, I'm trying to get that parry working, but I can't. That's your biggest complaint for Baldur's Gate 3, the whole nudity thing and the seriousness of it. Yeah, yeah, the focus on also sex, something. I don't know why that adds. Why that brings any pluses to the game. Maybe if it's a love-related game, then yeah, love story or some shit like that, it would be far more effective. But this, I mean, it's okay if that's an option, right? Jesus, I can't read this bastard's moveset. Finally. It's alright to have that option for people that actually would enjoy in such a thing. But maybe not put it as how to put it, how to say it, as prominent. Other word for prominent, but you get my drift. As long as it isn't that upfront. And that in your face. How dare they put the D&D combat in my dating sim? Yeah.
猴哥哥，是你！救我！猴哥哥，救我！山中生了变故，只有我逃了出来。不想下山路上又被妖人擒住，在这吊了3日3夜。不知哪师修来的元法，今生得遇好哥哥，若肯舍大慈悲，救我一家老小。 就算点身卖命，也要酬谢大恩。
我说的没错，这小羊叫唤起来果然高人。
是他们，抓我的人回来了，快救我！
好个冤家上钩！
What the fuck?
现在怎么办？统统烧死，烧个啤酒肉！ Yeah, alright, this is gonna be a failure. I don't have the necessary tools to defeat the two of them. I love the needle. Such a cool concept from Guardians of the Galaxy. What's up? Okay, that won't work.
Battling two heads. That's... Again, amazing music. Oh, what? When it hits the other head, it gets paralyzed. Fucking hell, interesting. Let's try to exploit that. Where is the other head? Ah, there it is. Yeah, interesting. Oh, come on. Come on. Yes, alright. Give me. Got him. Alright. I thought I would never be able to do this without all the help from the spells and so on. If I was designing a Souls-like, I'd make it so resources fully recharge each time you enter a boss arena. Me too, mate. Me too. And put every shrine before the boss fight. I hate that running part.
叔叔的钉耙可不长眼。
好险好险，多谢。
Oh look, another woman.
我是大力王的女儿，名叫萍萍。
胡柴，牛魔王何来女儿？哄骗我老朱，讨打！
我记得你，我母亲玉面公主，就是被你所杀。母亲死后，我便一直跟着父亲生活。铁扇公主心善，认我做了养女。后来，我从南海学成回来，我们一家团聚，终于过上安宁日子。哥哥一向孝顺，对我也甚是关照。可是不知怎的，不久前他忽然性情大变，他悄悄招了火云洞的旧部过来，先是求了父亲，又困住母亲。我实在没有法子了，才跑出来搬救兵。可的一出山口，就撞进了哥哥的手下。
那牛魔王神通无穷，我跟师兄两人且斗他不过。铁扇仙更有灵宝护身，怎么到了你这女怪嘴里啊？说求就求了。
谁能料到自己儿子反目成仇？做父母的，谁又真的狠心对亲生孩子动手？
呆子，这小狐狸哄你玩呢。
你们看看这里，若不是哥哥的三昧真火，又怎会落得如此凄惨？不好，父亲性命顷刻急救，请侯哥哥务必助我一家渡此劫难。
火焰山极凶极险，这只鹪鹩虫儿你却收好，到时自有用处。哎，这声音耳熟的很呐，老朱我去探探便知。
来不及了，侯哥哥，我在前面带路。快来！
Alright, let's that a bit for now. I'll be back later on. Thanks for the great chat as always. And I don't know, 4 or 5 hours I'll stream again. I'm really into the game a lot right now and I wanna get to the end. Thanks.